Yeah,
But
absolutely.
my question to you guys, Philippe Clement, that's 5 goals he's had now, and he hasn't picked up a single victory in this particular fixture. Not many survive runs like that. Now, he has been given a new contract, but where are we with Philippe Clement? I'll put my hands up and say I'm a Clement skeptic. I'm just not sure what it is that he's trying to achieve. And I looked at that performance today, and I think, if anything, Rangers look to me to be a side in regression rather than one in transition and moving forward in a specific direction. Guys, help me on this.
I find it hard to point too many fingers of blame at him right now for the state that the club's in general. I think there's the
Even though the
issues
team's
that
getting worse, Sandy.
yeah, but whose fault was it for that? He's had to sell players before he can buy players. Whose fault is it that they've been dealt with a list of big money earners that they've struggled to get off the wage bill? Whose fault is it that they have let so many players that had some value in it walk out the door for free? These are all issues that pre-existed before Clement came in. He's having to pick up the pieces. Yeah, of course he's not been perfect. He's not made mistakes, but I think it's difficult. I think any manager coming in right now would find it difficult to operate under the circumstances he finds himself in right now.
Has he not made the situation worse for himself though? With the kind of fallout that he had with Cantwell. Cantwell, to me, undoubtedly the most talented player. Now, I accept that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the answer in an Old Firm game, because he wasn't previously. But he's limited his own options. He's made some curious decisions, and I still don't see any defined style of play from this Rangers team.
If he's weeding out guys that he thinks are bad apples or aren't part of the future, I don't think there's anything particularly bad in that. I tend to agree quite a lot with what Andy said in terms of what he's been left with. You would probably expect him maybe to come up with a couple of better ideas or better plans, or maybe even sign a wee bit better in the free market if he could have. What I would be concerned about is and from a Rangers point of view, if you were a Rangers fan, would be there was a lot of talk after the game today about statistics and possession stats and shots and all of that stuff, and that's no cutting it. I'm afraid we can see again we're on ice. You don't need stuff like that. That stuff's irrelevant. A team's too in love and gets the ball. You build your possession stats, percentages, because they're too up and they're sitting off the game and they're waiting to counter you. That's what happens. So, when you start that road of stats and all that, it's not a good thing.
No, that's never a good thing.
If we look back to when Michael Beale was sacked and Rangers were on the lookout for a successor, let's not forget, there weren't many better alternatives in terms of on paper and a CV. This is a guy who had won titles in Belgium, and he did go and land the Monaco job. He was managing in the top French division. He's not like he's a complete mug. So if you bin him in October and this is what the club are trying to do, they're trying to break this cycle of just sacking somebody. Who comes in? Will they do a better job? Look at the money that Celtic have got in the bank. They're operating with a manager who's been at the very top level and is an excellent manager. So what is the next guy going to do? If, as Andy touched on, all these other issues aren't resolved, Rangers don't have a chief executive right now. As Andy says, they're playing outside of their own stadium. So there are other issues that he has to deal with. But Craig's right. If you start rambling on and trotting out, stats, that's not going to wash. You can see the anger amongst the fans already. And
the other thing, Gavin, I would say, and I think I said this on Hotline Live about a month ago, that I think we could pretty much see this situation coming for Rangers. It was going to take time. It's going to take time to transition that squad. It's not going to happen quickly. And I think most people accept that there's a fair chance that Rangers are going to be out of the Champions League and lose this first game against Celtic and be 3, possibly more points behind. That's how it's transpired. That's not anything that no one expected. As Andy said, people are walking out the ground today expecting the result that came. The state of play where Rangers are just now is where people expected them to be.
Yeah, but you're right. But that only washes for so long,
But that's the problem, Gavin. Only washes for so long. If Rangers drop points in their next game at Tannadice and fall 7, does that the clamour begin? Clement has to go, and then it happens, and we go back to Rangers. Go back to the situation that you just described. Right back to the start again.
Exactly.
So when new manager coming in thinking, well, I'm not having Jeffy and I'm not having him, and then you just start again.
Listen,
I
when
don't
John,
think, I don't think. Sorry, Gavin. I don't think Philippe Clement's job is under any sort of risk right now. They've obviously just got this sort of a fortnight, 3 weeks since they gave him a new deal.
yeah,
Speaking to people at the club over the summer, they made clear that they want to get out of this. What's the phrase John Bennett used? Rinse and repeat of sacking managers. This isn't going to happen. They're going to have to show a bit of patience. The board, the punters, Clement himself. This is not.
Good luck for that.
But this is not an easy fix. They're aware of that. They know there's probably going to be more pain and sore before it gets better.
yeah.
That's if it does get better. But I think right now you're thinking, right, well, they're stuck with Philippe Clement for the time being, and we need to find out a way to work with him and get the best out of him. But he certainly won't be getting sacked anytime soon.
Andy, you could flip it. How long do you think he's going to want to be the man in that line of fire? Because it's only going to increase on him.
He's just signed a 4-year deal. He's just signed a 4-year deal, Gavin. Unless
He's
he's
happy with Abraham.
That just gets you a bigger payoff.